Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. A beautiful day out, sun is out, warm but not too much. It's in the mid 80s, but it's gonna get hotter by the weekend. I think we're supposed to be in the mid 90s. So, but hey, you know, it's almost the middle of July, so I guess that's what we have to deal with. I've seen some of you talking about over on the East Coast, I think up in the state of Washington, 104 degrees. That's pretty warm up there. According to the news, the last 24-48 hours has been kind of crazy in the White House, in the Biden administration, in the Biden campaign, just that whole thing. News is saying today that there are reports, there's rumors. I mean, I'm not making the rumors, I'm just saying it's what the news is saying, that Barack Obama is behind the scenes quietly trying to work out a deal to get Joe Biden out of office or out of the campaign. Now, Biden is still saying that, you know, he's in it to win. He's gonna, in fact, they said yesterday that he's gonna last the whole 4 years. I suspect that that's mostly just talk, because there's also a report from the news that there's leaks from the White House that the Biden campaign is quietly running some analysis on how Kamala would be able to stand up against Donald Trump, that how she would do in a race against Donald Trump. So there's definitely a lot of stuff going on there. But again, a lot of the things that are happening, I think, are partly a distraction for that, because it's a mess. Now, it's a mess because they want it to appear that way. I'm still very confident that this is all part of their plan, that this just didn't happen. I mean, think about it, folks. Just think about it. Just a week or so before that debate where everything started going downhill for Joe Biden, the White House was trying to convince everyone that it's deep fakes and stuff, that people are trying to say that Joe Biden is old and senile and not capable of doing his job. And the media and everyone, and all these people, they see the same things you and I do, and many of them are directly around Joe Biden. You know, they talk to him, they see him, and they've been just flat out lying. And then all of a sudden, like a message was sent. All right, now it's time for plan whatever. We got to make it look like we're pushing Joe Biden out, and he's going to try to stay, and all this kind of stuff. It's got to look desperate. It's got to look chaotic. It's got to look confused, so that you know, when things start happening, there's just so much chaos and confusion. Remember that who's the author of confusion? Because it's certainly not God, not the Heavenly Father. He's not the author of confusion. So when there's the at least appearance, and I think most of us believe it's not just an appearance, it's true, that there's a overt effort to cause chaos and confusion, pretty much have a good idea where it's coming from. Now, while this is going on, things are heating up with the whole Ukraine-Russia thing. Russia says that, you know, they're gonna start retaliating. They're gonna start you know, doing things to retaliate against what NATO is doing to bolster Ukraine against Russia. The F-16s are supposedly either in country or headed into country to be used. Zelensky has requested that NATO remove all restrictions on them using weapons against Russia and inside of Russia. And the United States has announced that they're sending another $230 or something like that $1 million in funding and weapons over there, more weapons systems. China has weighed in and said that NATO is trying to start World War III, basically. I mean, not those exact words, but close enough. And that they should use some restraint. They should slow down and stop this, that they're trying to start a war with Russia. And I've said that clearly on here, even just recently, that I think that that's the case. And I'm not for Russia. I'm not for NATO. At this point, I don't know. I'm not for the American government, for the American people. I'm for the people around here in our community. But it's becoming quite obvious, I think, that NATO is trying to poke the bear into something else. And if that doesn't work, then they'll just make it happen through some kind of false flag. So I'd say we're not too far away from that. And that's where I've been telling you, we've got to continually prepare for that. It's almost like there's this ominous feeling going on right now where, we know it's right around the corner. I've seen a few people online on YouTube, and there was can't remember his name, a general over in Europe somewhere, or a leader over in Europe, saying that they believe that the war would start by September. Poland has moved an additional 17,000 troops to the border with Belarus. So everything is kind of just starting to fall into place where it looks like the war is about ready to happen. And what's that going to look like? What's it going to be? Is it going to be all for show, or is it going to be a real devastating war? Either way, they're going to do everything they can to really use that against us. If you think that they're fighting for us, the government, the politicians, the leaders, if you think they're fighting for you and I, regardless of what political party you affiliate with or none at all, I assure you, you are wrong. Everything that they're doing is trying to line things up to where it's beneficial to them. And not just beneficial to them, but beneficial to the people that they answer to, which isn't you and me. They don't answer to us. They have much higher authorities that they answer to. And they want to put things into place for this new world order, this great reset, this Agenda 2030. And all of the talk from those people over the last 12, 18 months has been some kind of, at least insinuation, that they really have to be pushing this agenda. Like there's this intensity about it, that we've got to do it. It's got to be fast. It's got to be now. And so it's almost like we're coming down to the line. And that's what I think we're seeing with this whole war buildup thing. The economy, the bankers and stuff are talking about how, U.S. debt is unsustainable. Gold is in the $24.20, $24.30 range today. It just keeps going up. The Federal Reserve is talking about how the level of debt that the United States is in is unsustainable. There's nothing that's going to fix that, unless they just wipe everything clean, complete collapse. There's no way to pay it all off. That's absolutely, you're not going to pay off $35 trillion. It's just not possible. And so when you start to look at the grand scheme of things of what all is going on, it's going to get chaotic, and it's going to be in everywhere. It's not just going to be food. It's not just going to be economy. It's not just going to be war. It's going to be food. It's going to be all kinds of other things, diseases, restrictions on freedom of speech, which is stuff that they've been talking about, restrictions in all sorts of areas, and then opening the doorway for all of this, Marxist, communist, godless type of behaviors and activities, because they want to make things really bad. They want it to be chaotic. They want to bring things down, because that's the only way that they can really implement their full evil plan, which, you can call it Agenda 2030, you can call it the Great Reset or whatever, but in the end, it's the beast system. That's what they're trying to implement. And the only way that they can truly implement that is if everything is in such destruction, everything is falling apart to where the people, the average person, is so desperate for things to change. Crime rampant all over the streets, illegals pouring in, no jobs, can't buy a house, can't afford a car, can't afford groceries, diseases everywhere, destruction of family and traditional values, wars, all of this stuff. Can't trust politicians, civil war, protests, riots. When it gets to the point that it's just overwhelming for everyone, they will be begging for anything, any solution they will accept. Any solution that promises peace, that promises stability, they will accept it. And so that's why there has to be a lot of destruction. And that's why we're seeing that start to happen. We're not there yet. It may be bad. And there's a lot of the things that I just mentioned, a lot of it is happening in different areas, but it's still not bad enough. It's not bad enough yet for, you know, a majority of the population to cry out for anything that brings about peace and calmness. So it's got to get bad enough for that to happen. And that's going to be pretty serious. It's got to get pretty bad for that to happen. And it will. Timelines, who knows? But it is going to get to that point because, you know, something that I've always thought of when reading scripture, and it talks about how, you know, the great abomination comes and brings about this false peace. And that everyone comes together and accepts it. Do you realize how bad the world has to be? Do you realize how bad things have to be for everyone to come and accept this false peace? It has to be pretty bad, folks. And that's a time period leading up to tribulation times. It's those birthing pangs as darkness is spread across the planet, as things are just progressively getting worse. And that's kind of that time period that we're living in. I don't, again, who knows how long it's going to be. But we know it's started. And we know where it's going to end. And we know we have to get ready for it. So keep doing all the things that you're doing, but just do more. Push yourself. Push yourself to do more. Push yourself to be ready more, physically, mentally, spiritually, all of that. Because that's the only way that we're going to get through this. You're not going to get through this by just riding the wave, taking it easy, you know, hiding out, keeping low key. You've got to do stuff. You've got to be active. Because if not, you're going to drown. You're going to drown. It's time to get your houses in order, folks, and prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.